Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome back to the District Territory Podcast. I'm Eric Shellhouse. Alongside me, Spencer Nussbaum of The Athletic, Kevin Franz of the Washington Nationals. Guys, coming off of two wins here since we last talked on air, and some breaking news from Spencer. Do you want to share that really quickly before we break down the last two wins?
Yeah, and I will also be looking at my phone to make sure there's no more as I'm reading this out. So the Nationals just signed Max Kranick, who's a right-handed reliever, to a big league deal. If you guys remember, they did not sign any reliever to a big league deal this offseason. And so in that sense, it's meaningful. He had elbow surgery last July and was throwing before that like 95, 96. At a recent showcase, he was throwing 94, 95. So the sense is that the stuff is, if not all the way back, pretty close to back. Um, and again, this is kind of reinforcements for the bullpen. We don't know what the corresponding move is yet, but for a bullpen that's looked better over the last 2 weeks compared to the start of the season, I'd say this is pretty encouraging in the sense that, like, are the Nationals maybe going to be buyers at any point this year? No, but when they can make smart reinforcements on the margins like this, um, I think that that's meaningful. So that was the big one, and then they also traded Zach Short, who's just a not just a, but he's a AAA infielder who they got from the Yankees in March. He's headed to the Detroit Tigers for either cash considerations or a player to be named later. So that's kind of the wrap up of it. But obviously the Kranick news is kind of the bigger item here.
Yeah, and the bullpen really one of the biggest storylines I feel like from this series in New York. They pitched so well. Franny, anyone you want to hand flowers off out to right off of the bat here? Because I mean, the bullpen was just fantastic.
They were Gus Varland, just because I mean the situation in itself. Like we've seen a few outings in the past go awry, trying to close out games in recent memory. I mean, they went into this whole series 3-15, the last 18 games at City Field. So winning ball games, winning series, not easy. But now they've done it twice, back to back. You go back, last year's last series there. Um, but yeah, for me, Gus Varland, and you could put out so many other guys, and truly, but like for me, Gus is the guy I'm going to say because number one, uh, with Clayton Beater going down, he's pretty much going to be the guy, and I say that because you look out there in the pen, with all due respect to the guys, like I'm not looking at shutdown guys everywhere. There's a lot of long relievers that have kind of, are doing things. Some guys that are still trying to find their way here, which is awesome, right? I love that because I mean, you need to to get your opportunity. You need to have opportunity, and so they're getting that opportunity. But for Gus Varland, uh, the first Varland brother to get a save in his family, now trailing his brother Louis, who, by the way, is having a better year than Mason Miller. I will say that, and is has this like great emotion behind him and this character that guys talk about so often, that we get to see, and I don't like letting people know what that is all the time because it's like that stays in the clubhouse. But the dude is amazing. uh he's not trying to be someone he's not, and he shut it down, and you gotta love it.
Yeah, I
Yeah, they
woke up
love this guy,
tired.
and his well,
But I
he's
woke up
someone
feeling like Gus
where
Varland. Really quickly for the viewers online, if you didn't see this after the game, that celebration was something else, something to behold. But sorry, continue, Spencer.
I was just gonna say, I mean, that image speaks perfectly to it, and for those who don't see it,
100%.
just a flex, mouth wide open.
Hulk
I
Hogan.
say this, yeah, yeah, Hulk Hogan is is a perfect pull
That's
there. Um, he's someone where I think a lot of relievers say that they have like a screw or two loose, um, in a complimentary way. I think that when you see Gus celebrate like that at the end, that fits that description, but it also fits the description of fearless. Like he is someone where you're comfortable handing him the ball in the ninth inning, even though before this season he had never done that in the big leagues. And I guess where my mind goes with this, and Franny, I'm kind of curious to get your thoughts as well, is when we talk about him as maybe the closer with Beater out, do you think they're gonna use him in the ninth exclusively, or is that a case where if they have high leverage arms coming up in the or high leverage bats coming up in the seventh or eighth, they'd rather see him in that spot? How do you think they might use a
I can see that
closer
happening
or a
more
closer
times than
by
not.
committee? Yeah.
I can see that. because of the struggle of getting to the ninth at times, right? Like in um, some of the games that we've seen slip away early on have happened in the seventh, like seventh or eighth, and you got to put in a guy that could get it. And so, you look at the spots that he could go into. I mean, he's a high vert guy with his fastball, stays on plane more than others, and with a good like bullet slider, right? Like, and I think those situations, there are lanes that you're going to get against guys, and the lane yesterday just so happened to be not the top half of that lineup, but if it got there, they felt comfortable, obviously. Uh, and that's who, he's going to face in those guys. And, Alvarez had a great at bat to get the double down line, but like just stay within with 2 outs and make pitch after pitch to Ronnie Mauricio. And he made, Ronnie Mauricio is going to swing a ton and he's going to chase a ton, but he fights a little bit. And we saw that. And you have to make your pitches, because the moment you don't, that ball's 500 feet, because that guy's got some massive pop. And so, I could see Gus being in all different innings, but the ninth I could see more times than not. I just don't think this coaching staff looks at, let's get to the ninth. It's like, how do we build to the ninth? And I think if he's a part of that building to the ninth, I think that's a huge part.
Exactly. And that's kind of what I was trying to set it up to as well, is the fact that like it could be him. You could see Richard Lovelady, who wasn't on the roster 2 weeks ago, in some of those
Crazy.
ninth inning spots with how well he's pitched. Like this is not the bullpen you see now and the leverage arms you see now are maybe not the leverage arms you see 2 weeks from now. That can be tricky for maybe a broadcaster or writer to parse out. But it's also really fun to watch them change roles throughout the season and basically give the ball to whoever's deserved it recently.
Yeah.
Not me. Not me. I like the new
You're
age.
right.
I love the I just think unless you have a bona fide closer in this game, everyone is a leverage, like has a chance to be a leverage guy.
Well, the save could come in the
You
8th
gotta
or
match
in the
up.
7th inning. Like
Right. Well, and so many times you think about 8th, 9th inning guys, or 7th, 8th, 9th inning guys, the 7th and 8th guys have such different stuff than maybe that closer, right? But then they have these abilities to attack a different part of the lineup, and they might be a better match for, certain areas than the closer. They might be actually better than the closer against the leverage guy, against the high octane, like the Sotos of the world, which right now, let's be honest here, no one's a match for Soto. Like
I'm
we've
not
seen
arguing.
him hot.
Well,
We've
James
seen him
Wood,
hot.
perhaps.
Yeah, maybe
We've
James
seen him
Wood.
hot.
We'll get to that.
I get it, but like I've seen Juan hot, but that guy's different right now.
He's locked in. He's
that's
very
on a
locked
level
in.
of a guy I used to play with.
Juan is super locked in, but yeah, I mean, James, even though, you didn't see it in the box score yesterday, 2 incredible plays out in the field. Read this tweet earlier today. James Wood with the casual home run robbery of Juan Soto from generation to generation. We were talking about this in our last episode. Just, about how James is really grown into himself as a potential future MVP candidate here, frankly. And I'm just curious, when you were watching that, Franny, what was going through your head in the booth? Because it was so nonchalant, the way he just went up, and not a lot of guys are able to make it look that easy because of his physical gifts.
Well, I talked to him after the game. It's just like, he's like, just like going up and get a rebound. And it was true, because I think those are actually the harder ones to do. Because on the move, you're just being an athlete. You're just trying to do, shoot, I'm going to make a play, panic. He's had, now you can consider it 3. I consider it 2 home run robberies. First one going like into the wall right next to the foul pole in right field at Nats Park, which was awesome. Like he went out, but it was just like a reactionary play, right? Like it was insane. But this one took like a perfect route. Because I say that because if he's going all over the place, his head's going to be spinning. He's going to jump. It's going to go into the fence. He did the great thing of getting back to the wall, feeling for it, knowing where it's at, and timed it up perfect in a ball that's not easy to time up, right? You jump too early. You don't, you're just a tick short. You jump too late. We obviously know, but if you have to jump perfect in that moment, I think that's the part that sets it apart for me of all the other ones for James this year, was that level of difficulty, technically, might not have been as high because he wasn't on the move, but I actually think it was harder because you go to some of these places, especially like City Field, where the warning track is so loose. Like you're trying to do a vertical leap in quicksand. I mean, that's what it is. And he did it, and it was awesome. I just think the best part about it was the smile and the look at Juan and everybody. And I think at some point people are going to realize this guy's freaking awesome, and it doesn't matter what his motor is at times. He's got a motor, he's got a care, and he's got an FU. And that smile right there was like, yeah, I'm good, but that was an FU.
The smile was definitely the best part, my favorite part, but like you were just talking about, the timing, let's not act like this was a wall scraper home run. This was gonna clear the fence by a couple of feet, and it required every bit of his extension, and the timing was what allowed him to make it look so easy. Would you agree, Spencer?
I would. I don't have a whole lot there to add on the actual execution front. I will say I asked James after the game, like, "Hey, did you realize you robbed a home run from the guy you were traded for?" And he was like, he kind of smiled, and then he was like, "Honestly, not really. Like, he works out with Juan in the off season. He's like, I look at Juan kind of in that just as like someone I work out with." And I was like, "Okay, so is he like,
Same.
he's not the guy you traded for? Is he the guy you work out with?" Like, he was like, and then he's like, "You know what? Actually, no. Like, I just look at him like he's Juan Soto." So, obviously, I think he understands that deal happened, but I think that's kind of, at least in his mind, that's not as much part of the narrative now, just because it's been a while. But I thought that was really funny, and yeah, just the smile he had then, the smile he had after the catch. It's really fun to see him, you know, show that joy like that. That was really cool.
But did you guys see this coming? Like, in all honesty, like him in left field is I would still call him Bambi. Him in right field's a grown man.
I
Yeah.
yeah.
And that was the thing, is like he played right field in the minor leagues more than he played left field. So like he came up and left because I think at the time Jacob was in center and Lane was in right, if I'm not mistaken.
Sounds right.
This fact that all it really, oh, obviously a lot of hard work, but the fact that you can see this
Yes.
kind of improvement just on the other side of the field is unfathomable. And again, it's why I say he's not a first baseman, at least not anytime soon.
Not anytime
No,
soon. Yeah,
not
and
at all.
that's not even talking about the full extension diving play that he made, you know? But if you want to catch James Wood at the ballpark, whether that be at Nats Park or City Field, you can do so using SeatGeek. That's why I want to give a huge shout out to the sponsor of today's video, SeatGeek. You know, we were talking about the Springsteen concert a few weeks ago, and I'm still planning on going to it. But they get you into concerts, they get you into football games, they get you into hockey games, and they make it really easy to read the app. So you can see right here, oh, I had a text pop up from my brother. But the green means you're getting a good deal, and the red means that it's not such a good deal, which is pretty straightforward and easy to understand for me. And it's graded on a scale of 1 to 10. So you know what kind of score you're getting, you know, how is it really a good deal? And plus, every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee. I love using SeatGeek. It's just, you know, really simple and easy to read and understand. And we also have a code for you guys. Um, I just realized I forgot to pull up the sponsor read thingy for it. I just started going into it.
That's all right. They can
They're gonna
edit.
have to
They
clip
can edit that.
this. They're gonna have to clip this. Okay.
Wait, wait. Before you get into that, did my video quality drop for you guys?
Yes.
Okay.
That's embarrassing.
Did it?
On my end. For me, it's
Yeah,
a
a little
little
bit.
pixelated, yeah. But it's kind of fluctuating.
It makes you look better.
Well, no shit.
I
All
mean,
right. I guess we can just work with this. And if you want
yeah,
to start the ad read,
it's going in and out. Hopefully, by the time the ad read is over, it comes back. But I'll try and make that sound natural as I was going from there about James. If you want to catch James Wood at the ballpark, whether that be at Nats Park or City Field, you can do so using SeatGeek. So I want to give a shout out to today's sponsor, SeatGeek. Guys, SeatGeek is a really easy app to use and really easy to understand. I'm using it right now on my phone. It's very straightforward. The green means you're getting a good deal. The red means it's bad. It's also rated on a scale of 1 to 10, the tickets being rated on a scale of 1 to 10, so you know whether or not you're getting a good deal. This thing works for concerts, it works for baseball games, works for football games, really works for any sporting event. With over 35 million downloads, SeatGeek is the number one rated ticketing app, and I love it. We have a code here at the bottom of the screen that you all can scan to use. Guys, you got any experience with SeatGeek?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Eric
Yeah.
Church concert a couple years ago, amazing. It's only got better.
Yeah, and it keeps
Easy
getting
to
better.
use.
Yeah, it's very straightforward. And of course, I have a code for you all that you can use. You can use code Territory10 for 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets with promo code Territory10. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. All right, let's get back into it. Nats stand at 15 and 17 right now on May 1st. For those of you watching online, bring up the NL East standings as of this morning. You know, this is I think we're on pace for 76 wins, I heard, or if I'm doing the math right, somewhere in that range. But I think if you told a lot of Nats fans on opening day that they're on pace for 76 wins, they would take that.
They would. And you know what's funny? At the Athletic, we had held a survey of Nats fans to kind of parse through some things early in the season, get fan thoughts. And I had put a question in there that was what are they most encouraged by? And I thought I knew what the answer was going to be. I gave like 5 options and then a write in. Um, the evenness between the splits of what you could choose, whether it's CJ and James breaking out, or the offense as a whole responding to the hitting coaches, or the change in philosophy, um, just the organizational direction. There are so many different things to pick from, and I think that's where you see this 15 and 17 start come from. Is hey, like the pitching, I think has been largely a letdown, but almost everything else that you can point to, and even the direction of the pitching, you see optimism in there.
Mhm.
And I don't want to act like it's all, everything's all perfect all the time. Like this is a work in progress. But when you think about the sort of things that they needed to see, which was raising the ceiling of a guy like James and CJ, or raising a floor of the rest of the offense, or making more substitutions, making smart decisions, winning at the margins, like they really are checking almost all of those boxes that I had for them at the start of the season when I thought about what would define a good start for this team. And so while it will be hard for them to maintain a 76 win pace, I think we can just appreciate a month in, not even looking at the future. Hey, they're doing the right things right now. And I think that holds a lot of weight for Nats fans who have had to watch a lot of, 66, 55, 71 win seasons over the last few years. And so that's kind of where my mind goes when I think about the overarching start. Franny, I guess I'm curious where you go first.
Ooh, I go a lot of places on this one. I think the most surprising thing and the most gratifying thing is to see 8 different guys over 10 RBI, right? Like, so you're getting production from guys that I mean, if you gave me a number before the season, it said like first month of the season, how many guys are gonna have over 10 RBI? If I said 4, is that disrespectful?
I would have said
Honestly.
3.
Yeah. And I went 4 on the high end. I know that. And I don't think it's disrespectful. I just think it's what we have seen in the past. Now, what we hadn't seen in the past and what is now is we're seeing better, I feel like, in-game adjustments. And whether that's a coaching philosophy or what I actually think in watching the bench and cameras every once in a while will pan on it, but like I watch the bench a lot and see the interaction between the guys is so much better. Guys on the iPads aren't by themselves anymore. If they are on, I'm not a
Yep.
big iPad guy during the game. I love that they do use them together, right? So now they're talking. It's the conversation between one another. That's a huge part.
That's a great call.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think
And the
that's
other
one thing.
sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, no, no. I was just
I
gonna
was just
say.
gonna say,
I just think it's awesome to see the contributions from everybody.
Yeah,
yeah, and the fact that like they are on the iPad together is great. It's also the fact that when one of them gets up, they talk to a teammate who's actually been watching the game, going through the flow of things. Like I think it's okay to go to the iPad every now and then, but it's best when it's augmented with the understanding of what's actually happening with the game flow. And so yeah, that's been very encouraging for me as well.
Yeah, there just doesn't seem to be like you said, there's not isolation when they are on the iPad. Guys are just very, smiling, happy, having a good time in the dugout. Seeing Louis and CJ embrace for that hug after the home run the other day, like that was great. Feel like I just hadn't seen anyone that happy after a home run in that dugout since we were dancing in 2019. Like there's just
You know, they
a
had 6 guys last year over 10 RBI?
six.
Yeah. CJ, Alex Call, Cabert, Josh Bell, James, and Nathaniel and Nathaniel Lowe on that one. I forgot about his first part of the year, first 30 games.
He did
That
some
might
good.
be the most surprising, unfathomable stat I've heard about this start, that it was only 6 guys last year. That's crazy.
Yeah. But it's up now. And yeah, I mean, it's not just one guy. That's been the case all season. For those of you watching online and bringing up Wednesday night's box score, excuse me, that's the pitching box score. But you look at the hitting box score, and it's going to be tough to read because it's a little tiny, and there's a heck of a lot going on there. I mean, Brady with the grand slam, that inning. I mean, the Mets seemed to do it to themselves, in my opinion. It undid itself when Mendoza went out to the mound and brought in a lefty to face Mead, who's in the lineup because the lefty was starting, and he plunks him, and then the cookie crumbles from there. But to me, that just there's no hate on Mania as a pitcher, but I just don't think he was thrusted into a winning situation there by Mendoza. Or what do you think, Franny?
Yeah, no, I mean, they're also a team that, like, yeah, nothing's going right. I mean, the Shamanaya thing is interesting when you look at it. He's throwing like 88, 89, right? And I think that's a big factor in this. I still think the at bat of the night is the like just tiny AB by James Wood, right? Like he goes down 0-2 quickly to David Peterson, gets a sword on that slider, spits on 2 of them, finds a way to get to 3-2 and gets a walk. And it's still like the at bat that sticks in my mind because it's like it's David Peterson emptied the tank, right? He emptied the tank in that situation, and when he did that, uh, things start moving around, right? Like the moves have to be perfect. The pen has to come out every time you open that door. Is he better than the guy that's going to be starting? And for sure, he was not. And in that situation, and Shamanaya drills Curtis Mead on a pulled sweeper, and then the elevated fastball, which again, Brady has not hit fastballs well at all this year. And you add velocity in there, it's nothing. But you go 88, 89, you got yourself a grand slam.
That's the outcome. That's the result. Yeah, I mean, the bats just when they do come to life, and we were just talking earlier about those uh, high pressure situations coming up in maybe the 6th or the 7th inning for that could be like the save there. And when the offense comes to life like that, when it did on Wednesday night, and the belief that that can happen in any inning, it could be a 1-0 game in the 6th inning, bases loaded, and Soto comes up. We're going to use our guy there, right? Like we're going to use our closer there. And then if we score 8 runs in the 7th inning, well, the game's kind of on ice at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just been one of the coolest parts to me about the offense is just like it's any inning. It can start anywhere in the lineup, and it's just everyone seems to be a threat to get down to first and then quickly take second. I mean, they're running with their hairs on fire too, which I love. Love that. Love stolen bases. Who doesn't like
Well,
stolen
maybe
bases?
not so much in the ninth.
Well, yeah, yeah,
Yesterday.
and that's one of those incredible things is Blake said after the game that he owned it, that was kind of the coach's fault, and that the sign wasn't being relayed quickly enough that Jacob didn't have the green light there, that he was supposed to not be running, and
That tells me a great manager because he jumped on the sword for a player. That's what I think.
you are 110% right there, Frank. I couldn't agree more. And yeah, I'm not going to say he took the bullet because it's not spiraling out of control. Like it's not like
No.
a conversation on social media or anything. But he nipped it in the butt
With
before it could
Luis
become anything.
Luis Torres behind the plate, I just shut it down. Just shut it down. The guy's thrown out 36, now 37 guys in the last 3 years. He has like it's over like a 42% throw out rate in that time frame. It's like it's for Major League Baseball fans out there for watching a guy throw. Everyone that talked about Pudge, I'm sorry, like this guy's got to be as close to that as anything.
High
It's
praise.
incredible.
Yeah.
It's high praise.
Well, and that's fascinating to me because when I had asked Blake about that stolen base or caught stealing after the game, he hadn't actually brought up trends, which I think is interesting. He talked more about Williams, in the sense that he is someone who's pretty slow to the plate.
Right.
But after Nas's stolen base, he went a lot quicker. Whether that was something that was relayed to him, whether that was something Terens even picked up on, that's part of what I'm fascinated by. But yeah, I think in the future you don't in that spot in a one-run game with James up at the plate, I don't think you can run in that spot. Even if it is
It's
a
100%
guy who's slow
shutdown.
to the plate. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 100% shutdown just based on where you are in the lineup and where, who's up. So many times it goes into the play of like the third, like Victor Estevez, like, he has to have those thoughts about, do I send this guy or do I not? If James is on deck, I do not send the guy if it's going to be a bang bang play. You know what I mean? Like those situations come about often, right? Like you got to be thinking ahead, thinking alike with your manager and everything. And that play in itself with Jacob stealing, it's like it's okay to be shut down right there. Like whether or not Williams is giving it to you. So what happens? He's still second. They're walking James.
Correct.
It's
Yeah. And I
it's
think
100% going to happen.
right. And with the Nationals too, I think one thing I'm trying to be cognizant of is because they run so often, I think you're going to see more of these guys who maybe if they are typically slow to the plate, they're going to start to speed up, which obviously is great for a hitter. That's like going to throw
Right.
off a pitcher's rhythm, perhaps. But on the bases, you have to be cognizant when a guy is able to, change his speed to the mound like that.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't think you can blame, trying to get one more run there. Little insurance run wouldn't have hurt there, but the base running in the ninth inning is what it is. We still got the win. We still got the curly W. That's the
Oh,
most important
the
part.
other thing too that I don't think we're talking enough about though, and we talked about it, Eric off air, was Miles pitched awesome yesterday.
Yes. Yeah. We
The
haven't really
MJ
did.
the MJ Melendez homer, and I went through every side I could to make sure I could do it. He set it up perfect with a backdoor curveball, and he got this like squat in like ass out foul off that he had him in so many different areas that he could go to. And I said, Dan asked me right away, where would you go? I'm like, go right at his hands right now. Right at his hands. That is the biggest hole that guy. And for the first time in his career, he got to a pitch up in the zone or up out of the zone
It wasn't
for
a
a
strike.
homer.
It wasn't a strike, right?
Oh, it was no, and
Just way up to
it
the
was the perfect pitch.
Yeah. I
It was
don't
the
know.
perfect pitch. And it was like it's one that it sucks because those 3 runs go on his ledger. Right in that situation, people are going to go like, "Oh, Miles Mikolas, that sucked." I thought he was awesome. He pitched. He got beat on that one pitch that was actually well executed, and I bet you he would go to that pitch 1,000 times more. And I hope he would against MJ Melendez. And that's how convicted he was. I was convicted in that, and he got beat. And guess what? He lived to see the next day. And we got to talk about how Miles was really effective yesterday.
Yeah, you just tip the cap to MJ Melendez. That's an incredible piece of hitting, something like you just mentioned, he'd never done before. Never gotten to that pitch up and in. And if you haven't seen the footage of that home run, go check it out. Because it's just such an interesting swing. I mean, pure muscle, in my opinion, from MJ
It
there.
was
But
it
Miles
was
was
it was interesting for
fantastic
sure.
yesterday. I was gonna say you talking about this Mets lineup that maybe isn't clicking on all cylinders right now, but the potential that it has. Mikolas, I think, had his best outing of the season yesterday because you take out the one home run, it's 2 base knocks, 2 singles. It's the only extra base hit of the day. It just so happens to come with 2 runners on. It's just, I mean, that was definitely in a lot of soft contact too. Like it seemed to me, Spencer, unless you can recall one so far through April. And most importantly, or not most importantly, but stuck out to me, he did it right from the get-go. We didn't use an opener or anything.
Yeah, even in the combined shutout, he had someone open for him. So I'd say the combined shutout still probably a slightly better performance. But what I'd zero in on, and honestly, I don't think I've given the pitching coaches enough due this year. And part of that is because obviously the pitchers have an ERA, way up
North
towards the
of
top of
5,
the
yeah.
league. But yeah, Miles had mentioned that between starts, especially after that second start, he worked a lot on his fastball command and getting a little more zip on it. Again, that's something that's easier said than done, even though he's a vet. Um, and I think when you look at the results from the first two, I think he had an ERA over 14. I'm not exactly sure what the ERA is down to. I think it's still around 8, so it's not where you want it. But so much of this game can be decided by those little in between outings moments where you find that fastball command and you find an extra half tick even on the fastball. That makes the world of difference. And I think for Miles too, who's been in this game a long time, um, for him to kind of go out his way and say, "Hey, that's really the difference between terrible starts and starts where I'm looking a lot better." I think that's really important, and I think that the pitching staff and pitching coaches deserve some credit for that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't want to be disrespectful and say turning a new leaf because they were not that before. But in the last, I mean, everyone's last start through the rotation, looking really sharp, looking really good. Cade on Wednesday night, 30 pitch first inning, which, kind of seen that over the course of the season. But the last 24 pitches, all strikes, which, he didn't even know when he stepped off the
Oh,
mound.
fun
But
fact. Did you know
yeah,
that the S&Y booth had that stat and we didn't? Just to let you know.
I mean, that is a fun fact. Food for thought. But it's just he wasn't even aware of it. And that's just something that we were talking about finishing the show the other day. Like, what would qualify or quantify a quality outing for him? We kind of all had different things we were looking for, and I think he did all of that and more.
Yeah, the different. So we talked about this the other day, right? Like the maybe the next wave of pitcher is going to be the Schlittler way of the 3-way fastball, right? Having 3 shapes on it, but the importance of having at least 2, right? Like the bare minimum of 2, and really his sinker has been so good, and like picking and choosing the spots with it, right? Like against Atlanta, it was so good early, kept on relying on it, gave up a few hits with it, right? So it's like the picking and choosing his spots, and I feel like he picked and choose his spots so much better. And then it just kept from allowing him to use that curveball, right? Just to keep it in the tank a little bit until he got to Mauricio. He fired off 3 straight curveballs in the 9 hole, and that was the first time he really used, like, not first time he used it, but like this is what I'm coming with you guys second time through. And to get 8 swing and misses on it, 18 was the final whiff rate on or score on his ledger, and to me that's the one that I'm like, okay, the swing and miss is there again. Swing and miss wasn't there early, and it's because to me they weren't respecting the fastballs, right? Like when you don't respect the fastball, like your off speed stuff, it's like whatever. I see spin, I'm gonna spit on it. Now they're respecting the fastball. He's pounding the zone in great spots, not hard of the plate. He's pounding the zone in so many different quadrants that it opens up every lane possible for that curveball now.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? I don't want to disagree with you on this, but where my mind kind of goes in this aspect, I think about there was an anecdote from Tyler Glass now a few years ago that said he really figured out how to pitch when the Rays told him to throw the ball down the middle. It's really hard to command the ball, but if you have excellent stuff, you can get away sometimes with just aiming for the middle, and hoping that the ball ends up at the edge. I think we're at a point in Cade's career where he's really starting to figure out the sequencing aspect of things, as you were talking about. I'm not fully convinced that the command is all the way there. I am pretty convinced, however, that he knows how to use his pitches and
He's
that the
seeing it.
pitches are
Yes.
nasty.
He's
The
seeing it.
pitches are nasty enough where if
Right.
he misses his spot, he can still,
But
if it's in and around the zone, he'll be all right.
he's not going into it like it's all preconceived, right? Like it's not like, okay, because I did this, I do this. No, he's seeing his pitches, how they're worked, right? So, like, the ability to educate him, he's talked about this, right? Like, them talking about how my stuff works and what I need to look for and when it's going like this. And you could see the mix and match of that and working in real time. It's not like, well, I'm just gonna throw a curveball here because it says so. No, but I set him up good up and in right here. I can go back door on the curveball now. I can go to that sweeper in that spot down and away, like thinking along with what his stuff is showing him, I think is the biggest part right here for Cade. 100% agree with you on that, Spence.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's why you see 24 straight strikes at the end. It's not all in the zone, but that's why you see 24 strikes in a row at the end. Is he's locked in. He understands the approach, and more than that, he had seen their swings and their at bats all day. So like, even if you're not going in with a preconceived plan, he knows these hitters now, and
Yep.
that was, I mean, unbelievable to see.
You wrote about Cade the other day. Yeah, has the stuff that the Nats are trying to teach in the minors with the approach they're trying to teach in the major leagues. He is just really interesting guy on this pitching staff right now.
Can you explain that?
Please explain more.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, you Spence.
You're the
You
one
want me
that
to
wrote it.
explain what specifically? Okay,
What they're
so
trying to teach
when
in
I
the major leagues. 'Cause I know the minor leagues, like the stuff. I mean, Miguel Sime is a prime example of striking out 90 per nine, but he's on pace for just an insane year. But I think the mentality in the major leagues. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so I think at the start of the year you saw a lot of walks, for instance, from this pitching staff. And then we got about 3 weeks into the season
Mhm.
and you saw them getting ahead and then it didn't matter because they were falling back behind. I think
Yeah, the
what you're
race to two, they
finally
were
starting
winning
to
it.
see. Yep. But then when you got to 0-2, you got to 1-2, you were seeing pitches way outside the zone or you were seeing pitches right over the heart of the plate. And again, this is not to say that it's easy to command the baseball in the major leagues or at any level. That's not something that is easy to do. But I think when you throw with intention, and this is what they've been talking so much about, is hey, just stay on the attack. Like sometimes you're going to get beat over the heart of the plate, but we'd much rather that than you throw the ball 0-2, you throw it in the other batter's box, then you throw it at a guy's feet, then you throw it way over the zone. All of a sudden, 3-2, and the hitter has the advantage again. They are trying to teach these guys to stay on the attack, and even when it's uncomfortable, stay on the attack. I think that's harder for some guys to do when you're throwing maybe 90, 91, 92 over the plate because you know you're not going to miss as many at bats, or excuse me, you're not going to miss as many bats. Um, and that's why they're teaching and emphasizing stuff in the minor leagues. But more often than not, no matter how hard you throw, you're going to have a better result if you stay on the attack. That's kind of also where you feel a combination of both new age and old school feel like it's all of this coming together. And so I think
Right.
that's why you see with maybe a Michaelis, you maybe see with a Jake, even though his stuff has looked better this year, you see these guys trending in the right direction because they're attacking. And I think that's been really encouraging to see. And to see Cade do it, I mean, that's the sort of pitcher the Nationals want to flood their rotation with 2 years from now. So it's really cool to see.
Yeah. I mean, just really overarching. Took 2 out of 3 in Citi Field. Franny, you had the number earlier in the show. It's been tough to
That's
do
been play.
over the years. It's you know it's tough to go into that ballpark.
Yep.
I don't like the Mets. I'm a Nats fan. I just it's a tough ballpark for me. That and Philly. The All-Star game is there this summer, so we'll make an exception for that this year.
I think you know where my thoughts are on that. Like I've never shied away from. I've just not enjoyed the Mets over the years.
Not a huge
So
City Field guy. We were talking about that in the duo
yep.
episode the other day when Spence was out. But they're back in the ballpark tonight, and that's gonna be good. And keep the momentum rolling. It's May 1st.
Got to. They're going up against the Miz.
Yeah, as I know, it's gonna be no easy task. And I think we got Jake on the mound tonight, correct? So yeah, before we
Two
preview
high
that,
extension guys.
yes, yeah. District Territory is brought to you by FanDuel. The MLB season is in full swing, and FanDuel is giving you a chance to call your shot with daily dingers. Joining the action is easy. Just make your free pick on who's hitting a home run in their game. And if you're right, you'll get a profit boost to use on your next bet for a chance at extra innings. It's just another reason why FanDuel is the home of all home runs. So, guys, I'm curious, who's your pick tonight? Who could go yard again? Because me, I'm going CJ twice in a row personally. I think he's going back to back. That's just my arch. That's my gut. I
I'll let Spence go.
I'll go with CJ. I think he's
CJ.
about to start the hot streak again.
Yeah, and he's a streaky player. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean,
I'm
CJ,
going Louis.
Louis. Okay, I like the
You
Louis pick.
give me heaters up at the top of the zone. It doesn't matter if extension or not. He loves to get on top and hammer balls. So I'm going. That's the pick.
Yeah, I like that pick. You can head over to fanduel.com/podcast to get started. That's fanduel.com/podcast to opt in for daily dingers and make your free pick on who's hitting a home run. Play ball and swing for the fences on FanDuel, an official partner of Major League Baseball.
No purchase necessary. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call or text 1-800-GAMBLER.
All righty, we are back. Just as we were discussing before the break, Brewers come to town, then we got the Twins after that. It's a weekend at the ballpark, but what do the Nats need to do correct, Franny, to keep this momentum rolling and maybe take 2 out of 3 here and you're back at 500?
Yeah, most important thing is you got to take care of the baseball again. And they showed against the Mets, when you take care of the baseball, you're going to win games. And they showed that in Milwaukee just a couple of weeks ago when they swept them. And that sweep can't be you're relying upon. You're not good enough yet to do that, to say like, oh well, that's what we expect. Like, no, this is a new series, new team that you're going to come against, because they are a new team when you really think about it. They've played better baseball. They've scored some runs in recent days, which I think is something that they weren't doing when we got there, and they kept not doing it when we got there. So I think that's a huge factor. And can you keep William Contreras down? Because I think every time I say Will, I'm like Contreras. I'm like, did I say the right one? You got to keep William Contreras down. He's been feeling it, and I think that's a huge factor. Frelick got to feel like he's not going to go 0 for in a series again. I think that's another one. So, look, they got to continue to stay in the zone. On the offensive side, great approach there. Throw strikes, play quality baseball. Ball security is going to be huge against Brewers because, again, you make a mistake, they take advantage normally.
Yeah. You think there's a team out there that's better than them at small ball, at game prep, at advanced scouting? Like,
No.
maybe one or two, but like that's why the Brewers win 95 games every year, is because they're good at that stuff. In addition to all the development and all the other stuff that we're talking about all the time, like they can small ball the heck out of you, and they have some boppers in that lineup. So I don't think it'll be an easy series at all.
Yeah, it'll definitely be an interesting one to follow. See what we can get done. And I just want to give a quick shout out to Dan on the call the other day on the Brady home run, the fumble, because Franny, you just mentioned taking care of the ball. I think that's going to be the biggest thing too. Like, let's get through these games with clean defense and maybe some more highlight reel plays, like we saw from James the other day. And just
the other thing too about Dan's call, by the way, he got crapped on by the see you later, mate, on Curtis Meads the other day. Curtis is the one that said, yeah, that would be awesome for you to use it. And so, people that have crushed him for it, double birds for you, baby.
I would agree, because I was planning on signing off today with a little "see you later." So I don't know. Maybe I should roll that back. I don't want to get any hate. Is it coined? You can't. I don't want to disrespect Bob here, but I mean, it's a great call.
No, I think you're in the clear.
I think I'm in the green. But yeah, we will be back on Monday recapping this Brewers series, however it goes. And honestly, guys, I'm feeling optimistic. But Spence, before we get going, I'm just curious, like from Jake tonight, what do you want to see out of him?
Oh, that's a great question. In the last couple of games, his second and third time through the order has been legitimately unbelievable. And as I said before, the Brewers are a team, they know their scout, they know the opposing pitcher. they're a team that probably is pretty dangerous in the second, third time through the order. So if that curveball, especially, is working that second, third time through, if he can mix those pitches like he was before, um, I think chess match is an overused term, but I think this is pretty apt in terms of how to describe it. So I'm looking less at the first, second inning and more about third, fourth, fifth, potentially sixth. I think that'll be fun to watch, and how much he's able to get away with just hammering that curveball over and over is something I'm keeping an eye on.
Yeah. Franny, you got anything to add?
No, I just think it's been a team in the past that's gotten to him, and I think, you know, at some point you gotta be able to fight them, right? Like you got to be able to come out there and have some good stuff and see what you got. Tack, don't be scared. He's got a career 6.42 ERA against them, career 281 batting average against, and I feel like, hey, why not now? Why not make this your best outing, right? I think that's a huge part of it. If you don't want to, attack them, they will take their walks. They'll do all that, and to me, that's where I'm at with him.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm jealous of you guys back in DC. Get to be there at the game. I'm back in Arizona. But
Yeah, you're hot right now, though.
I'm hot. I'm not hot, but
It's
hey,
cold.
it's not that cold back in DC. It's starting to warm up. Just bundle
Oh
up.
no, not right now. Today is like a high of 59. Let's go.
I mean,
That's
yesterday
cold.
was like 60
It's
something.
baseball season. It's May.
Pay attention to that sound check for me, would you, from the bullpen later on. My dad is playing a set before the game. So if you're going to the ballpark, to our listeners, swing by, maybe check out the bullpen. There'll be some good
What
music
time?
there. They go from like right up until first pitch, I think, maybe like 15, 30 minutes into the game.
Are they the ones that play during I could hear them during the game, like it's going on, right? Like first inning?
No, that's up by the Budweiser Terrace, if it's still the Budweiser Terrace.
Oh,
That's up top. That's every Friday in the ballpark.
right by the lumberyard.
Yes. Yeah, but they're out. They're out. Well, they're out there. I mean, enjoy it. And if you're going to the game tonight, just have fun for me on my behalf if you're a listener. But thank you so much for tuning in, folks. We'll see you on Monday, recapping the Brewers series and previewing the Twins when they come into town. But for now, see you later.